What's going on, y'all? It's been a while since I've uploaded anything, but I'm ready to wrap this up. I've got, as far as I know, just Melania to kill, and then whatever lies in wait for me at the very end of the game. I'm stoked about that. I plan on recording it and doing live commentary, but before I do that, I wanted to do one more kind of Elden Ring video journal entry, just to document a few of the moments in my first journey. So I think it's mostly boss fights. Got a few story elements that I threw in that felt important to my first playthrough, and then I think I'll end it with a little co-op action. The exploration was my favorite, and I feel like I'm definitely not alone in that. It's just unparalleled in any other game, and I don't think it'll be matched for a very long time. But when you have a mountain of footage, the boss fights are easy to find because of that health bar. So that's what I did. I didn't want to take too much time going through everything that I've recorded. It just didn't seem worth. So here we go. This first one is one of these Knight Riders that are tied with the Crucible Knights for being a couple of my favorite minor bosses or major enemies, however you want to think about them, just because they're so fun to parry. Specifically these guys parrying off the horse. I never got tired of that. So these guys, along with the Crucible Knights, they'll be mandatory fights from now on for me anytime I play back through the game. I have to give a shout out to my brother-in-law. My great-grandmother passed away recently, and my family asked me to play a song on the guitar at her funeral. And he was helping me set up and kind of make sure that the sound was okay in the room. And while he was doing that, he recorded a little piece of me practicing the song. Then later on, he turned that into what is, in my opinion, a really dope lo-fi track and sent it to me. So I thought I would make a little intro using that, and I think it turned out pretty nicely at the beginning of this video, so I appreciate that, sir. This fight is probably in my top 5 for the game so far. I think it's probably because it's fairly reminiscent of more traditional Souls type combat. He's a little slower, a little more telegraphed than a lot of the major bosses. I just found it to be very satisfying. After just one or two tries, I switched to what I'm doing here now, which is not using any weapon arts and just going old school trading blows. And I prefer that combat personally to the like 10 hit combo, like kill you in one flurry type bosses. Maybe I'm not as hardcore of a Souls player as I once thought I was. Actually, I know I'm not. I think this game has taught me that a little bit. Maybe Sekiro taught me that even more. But I definitely prefer being tricked into thinking I'm good rather than actually having to get good. I like when a boss feels really hard, but after just a couple attempts, you can kind of get a good feel for their movesets. When it gets to the point where they have, 10 different moves that can kill you in 1 or 2 hits, and you've got to know the tells on all of them, and they are super rapid and basically relentless, I have the patience and the determination to keep throwing myself at a boss like that, but it's not as fun for me, personally. Yeah, this guy struck a very good balance for me. And also, I think I wore a piece of his armor for the rest of the game after this, because when you roll into like the weaker enemies, it staggers them every time, and I found that to be extremely useful. So overall, top tier fight for me. This Misser code, I'm not sure how you say it, but this dagger was definitely one of the staples of my playstyle throughout the playthrough. It was kind of my dedicated offhand, or secondary, I should say. I used it for the Black Flame buff a lot, and then I also pretty much kept Flame of the Red Mains on it the entire playthrough, which was just too strong. I mean, there were multiple enemies that would have been very hard if not for that weapon art. I know there's a lot of overpowered weapon arts, but I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the list of them. As long as you can get it off a couple times, it staggers basically everything and puts it into a critical state. I think the creation and the execution of the Crucible Knights was excellent though. They are the perfect evolution of like a Dark Wraith and a Black Knight combined, and then given superpowers to get them updated into the world of Elden Ring. And I think they were as fun to fight as anything in the game, in my opinion. These ancestors are also very high on my list for fights that I just fully enjoyed. I like the way they look, I like the vibes, I like the soundtrack a lot. And also I think they made very good use of the space in these arenas. There's some bosses that move a lot and teleport away from you that to me are just not the most fun. I'm thinking of like the tree centipedes, or the Estelle of the Void, and the other one, the alien dragonfly creatures. Actually, now that I think about it, they kind of have wings that look like the Moonlight Butterfly, Dark Souls 1. There's so many either overt or subtle references to the other games in Elden Ring. That was one of the most fun things about it, is constantly being reminded of all the other From Software games. But anyway, this guy moves all over the place and teleports in the same way that those bosses do, or similarly. But I find this one to be much more engaging in the way that he moves around the arena. And I don't know, I think overall it just gave me a different feeling than most any other boss, not only in this game, but maybe in all the games. And I really appreciated that. It was a little more of a Japanese myth vibe, kind of almost something you would see in like a Neo game, more than a From Software game, I think. I mean, I know they're both Japanese companies, but this one definitely had those Japanese mythology vibes, and I like it, man. This was pretty mean to put this guy out here. And I'm pretty sure this is an example of when keeping it real goes wrong right here. Yeah, look at that health bar. That one hurt. That one hurt my heart. I did get my revenge though. But that guy sucked, man. He was a jerk. Speaking of jerks, these idiots. I don't think it took me that many tries to kill them, but the tries that it did take me were annoying as hell. But I think this is about the time when this weapon, which I already had really liked, just the art design of, this is when it fully moved into one of my favorite weapons. So this is by no means a good fight, but it was my first attempt. And I think I included it mainly just to showcase this Grave Scythe, which was, along with the Great Stars, kind of my two go-to weapons in the second half of the game. I think they were the only two standard weapons that I maxed out to plus 25. I do tend to prefer the standard weapons over the unique ones. There were several somber weapons that had a dedicated weapon art that I did use, but overall I enjoyed being able to customize the Ashes of War, because honestly I would get really tired of spamming the same weapon arts over and over, because it just is the most effective way to deal damage in this game. And as you'll see in some of the clips later in PvP, me and also it seems basically everyone else, that's what you do. You just find an opening and spam whatever weapon art that you're using, and there's several of them that are very, very strong. But yeah, I would get a little tired of it, and I liked being able to change it up. I liked being able to go between Bloodhound Step and like something else that, you know, was more of a damage dealer when I would get tired of doing the same thing. I think it's just, you know, I have a bias coming from the older games that I'm perfectly fine with R1s and R2s. And there were times when I would prefer to use those, but like it was basically a challenge mode at that point. Like not using a weapon art, even for a little time, is you're just wasting DPS you could be putting out. So, you know, it is what it is. And they're definitely cool, but there's a downside, I think, to the Ashes of War being as strong as they are. So this is the story element that I was talking about that I wanted to add. This is when I decided I wanted to know more about Fia. She says a line right here about becoming the Lord of the Many and the Meek, and I found that very interesting. And with this whole situation here, with her, it looks like she kills Dee with this death rot stuff. I thought she might be kind of a Nito type character, you know, someone that seems dark and evil initially, but in From Software games, the morality system is always anything but simple. So yeah, I was interested in her, and then I found, as far as I know, all of her quest line points organically, without, you know, looking anything up, and I thought it was all very cool, and it actually gave me some feelings later on, which kind of solidified it as my favorite quest line and my favorite NPC. I'll show you what I'm talking about here soon, and at the time I thought this was really cool. Now I did get sick of dragons too, but at the time I thought this dragon was awesome. So this part right here is very reminiscent of Alfred when he brutally murders the Queen of the Vile Bloods in Canehurst in Bloodborne. But because I had developed this interest in Fia, this was an interesting moment for me because I usually don't care about characters in any kind of real way. I don't know, maybe it's a flaw of my own personality or something, but typically in games I don't develop relationships with the characters and whatnot. But I was genuinely angry right here because I would felt like I was going down this trail of trying to learn more about Fia and wanted to do her quest line, and then when it ended with her being killed by this dude, I was pissed off.
Forgive me. Darian.
I thought this was such a cool encounter. This was definitely the coolest barrier to one of the divine towers, I think. Kind of reminded me of the Four Kings fight. Honestly, the fight itself is pretty underwhelming. I think they should have put 4 of them. Now that I'm thinking about it, that would have been pretty neat. But I love how it's just silent, no music. And yeah, I thought this was very cool. But since the fight itself, I don't have much to say on it. I'll give you a quick update on something going back to the very first episode, my kind of dramatic intro about how big of a deal it felt to both start this game, but also kind of coinciding with a pretty big life event. Just to put it as simply and concisely as possible, we have a foster daughter that we've had for well over a year and a half now, and we're hoping very much that this will be her home forever. And we've been fighting for that and hoping for that for a long time now. There's been lots and lots of ups and downs, and it's just a slow, difficult process. So we have had overall good news, and things are moving in a positive direction, but there's still a lot of uncertainty. But unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to announce any big news or whatever in this playthrough like I was hoping I would. But it's okay, because there's still hope, and that's all that matters. This fight here, I think I just included it because this little phase of the game where I was using this grave scythe with the Bloodhound step was probably my favorite as far as just enjoying the combat. Now this boss was not difficult, and it's probably not a good showcase of it. It just happened to be a video that I found, but there was a time when I was exploring with this setup, and I loved every minute of it. And also that boss may have some pretty cool lore implications. Not sure, but I'll be interested in looking into those demi-humans. As you'll see in these next couple of clips, I got back to the place pretty quickly where I was perfectly fine just spamming my Ashes of War if it meant that I could melt some of these tougher bosses that were kicking my ass. So Moog and Malekith were 2 that I found semi-cheesy tactics to take out fairly quickly. Bypassing that entire second phase changed everything. The animations of this boss are so cool. But he is an asshole. I think I mostly just got lucky on this attempt. Because the few before this all ended so quickly. So after this fight, I'm just going to let it play out with some co-op PvP. The next time I upload, it should be for the finale, the last few fights of the game. As always, it's a little bittersweet to end a From Software game, or really any game that you sink a very significant amount of time into and enjoy completely. But I'm ready to wrap it up, and I will do that next time. I appreciate you if you watched. It's probably, I know the post commentary is a little boring. It bores me, honestly. But like I said, I just kind of wanted to document, some random stuff, including some of these co-op times coming up here. So that's what I did. I'll catch you later. Oh no. Oh no, she's freaking me out though. Oh, there she is. Mm. Mm. That's pretty brutal. Get absolutely wrecked. There's the here's the invader up here, I think. Yeah. I think he's AFK. He is. Poor guy. Just go. Just go and I'll follow. Nice, dude. Baited. Fucking, we don't know where we are. Alright, I get. I'm going up top. Oh, didn't do any good for me. Get fucked. Oh, yeah, real dude. I don't see him yet. Oh my god, dude, he just double parried us. Right, that's just, whoa, 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 whoa. And the shield on my back that looks really badass right now. Oh, here he is. Hmm. Get his ass. There's the invader up top. He's down now. He's down. He's with us. I want to try this. I want to make this work one time really bad. I'm just an innocent patch of flowers. We could just try to murk him as soon as he came up the elevator. Hope. I'm in a terrible position. There's no way that he... Oh! No, you didn't. No, you ain't gonna. You done messed up, buddy. Dude, he killed me. He killed me with that crazy spin. I cannot believe that. Yeah, I think this is the level he was on. Could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know yet. Whoa. I got him. Right. That's Alright, I'm gonna take them out. Oh, invader. Alright, dudes below us are dead if you want to drop down. Because I can't get back up. Get fucked. Yeah, he's on me. Alright, he can't heal anymore. Well, doesn't matter.